Hi everyone, this is going to be the part 3 of this end-to-end data pipeline that we have been working on. Okay, now so far we have worked on creating extracting data from the Zillow RapidAPI. Okay, we loaded that into our first S3 bucket, which we call the landing zone. We gave it a name, and that triggered a lambda function, which then copies that file, that JSON file, into another bucket. Now immediately it lands into this bucket, it triggers another lambda function which does some transformations, right? We selected some columns from the data and then converted the data into CSV and then loaded that into this S3 bucket. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to load that data inside our redshift and then use quicksight to visualize some of those data. Okay, and also as part of that, we have been using Airflow to orchestrate this process. Okay, we use S3 key sensor, right, to sense that the file already exists in this S3 bucket. So if you have not watched that video, I'll put the link to that, to the part 1 and the part 2 of this video in the description below. I highly encourage you to watch the part 1 and the part 2 because this is a complete end-to-end data pipeline project, but I don't want to put everything in just one video, otherwise it's going to be too long, and that is why I have broken it down. Okay, and we are using the Zillow RapidAPI as our data source. Okay, now sit tight guys and let's get going. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to go and create our redshift cluster. Also, one thing guys, by the time we finish this project, it is advisable that if you are not going to be using this anymore after you finish this project, I highly encourage you to deactivate, or delete your redshift cluster that we are going to be creating right now, so that you don't continue to incur cost. Okay, even your EC2 and everything that you use in this project, if you are not going to be using it continuously, there is no point keeping your S3 bucket and the EC2 and the redshift, so that you don't keep, and the lambda function, so that you don't incur cost. Well, for lambda function, I think it is only when it is invoked that you get charged for it, but even as at that, you just want to be, you want to be careful enough. But I think for lambda function, you are not charged until it is until you invoke the lambda function. But for sure, redshift, you want to make sure that you actually delete that. Okay, before don't just, after you're done with this project, again I'm repeating it, make sure you delete it. Okay, now let us come right here and let us type redshift. Now type redshift. Redshift is an Amazon data warehouse. Okay, we are going to be loading our data inside this, and this is what happens in the real setting. You are going to be having a lot of your data you are going to be loading into Amazon Redshift. You can see it is a fast, fully managed petabyte scale cloud data warehouse. It is very, very good for data analytics. Okay, now if I come right here, I can come right and I can say create cluster. So I say create cluster. Okay, now this one is Redshift serverless. I can close this. Okay, now this is the cluster identifier. I can leave this way, that's fine. Okay, then it says choose the size of the cluster. I'll say I will choose. For some of you, I'm not sure, maybe you can have a free trial or something, or if you are eligible for a free cluster, go ahead and use that. In my own case, I don't have that. I'm guessing some years ago I've used mine already. Maybe that's why I don't have access to a free cluster, because I know previously I've seen that before. So I mean, I'm sure I've used it. That's why a long time ago, but I don't see it right now. So but in case you are saying that you can use you can provision free redshift cluster, please go ahead to do that. Okay, so in my own case I will be paying for this, but since I'm going to be deleting this immediately I finish this video, so the cost I'm going to be bearing should not be much, maybe $1 or less than $1 or something. We'll see. So now I'll choose. Then what's the node type? Okay, choose a node type that meets your CPU, RAM, storage capacity. So I'll come right here and I will maybe try to choose the cheapest. This says 3 large XL plus. Seems you can see this one is more expensive than this. This one is $1 per node per hour. Okay, and 4 virtual CPU. Okay, and what we are doing right here, we don't need something big, something fancy. Just select this one. I think that's the smallest one. Then the number of nodes, 1 is okay for us. We don't need many nodes. You can see that when I adjusted it, the amount changed. This one, and then if I put 1, but take notes again, these are just estimate, and this is saying per month, right? But for this video, you know, at this point we're almost to the end of the video, so we should not be spending more than say 1 hour or 2 hours in this case. So what that means is that we are not going to be spending much right here. Okay, and we don't have a lot of data right here. Okay, you don't have a lot of data, so we shouldn't be spending much. Okay, all right, so now if you check this, it's going to load some sample data into your Redshift. So I don't want to do that because I don't need the sample data in this case. Okay, so don't check that. Okay, and this says admin username. What name do you want to give the Redshift cluster? So let us leave it as AWS user. Let us now put this AWS user Zillow, you know, let's just put that, and then password. If you want, you can say auto generated password. Okay, but I don't want that. I want to give it my own password. Okay, so I will just type in this password again. Even if I click show password, it's not going to be useful for you because I'm going to delete this Redshift cluster before I publish this video out. Okay, so now I've put my password, but take note of your password, guys. Take note of your password, guys. Okay, take note of that, because you will be needing your password later on. Okay, you're going to be using it later on. Okay, and one other thing that you should also take note right here is that as we are creating this Redshift, it is creating an IAM role for us as a default that have access. It says Amazon Redshift all commands full access policy attached. This policy includes permissions to run SQL commands, to copy, unload, and query data with Amazon Redshift. You can see, so it's already giving us these commands full access, so we don't need to apply that anymore. It says this policy also grants permissions to run select statement for related services such as Amazon S3, Amazon CloudWatch Logs, Amazon SageMaker, and AWS Glue. So I think we are fine at this point with this. So if I scroll down, I think this is good. So I'm going to create cluster. I'll close this, and then you can see that it is creating the cluster here for me. Creating a Redshift cluster is going to take some few, I think maybe 1 or 2 minutes or so. I can't remember at the exact time, but I'm going to pause this video, and then when it finishes creating the cluster, then we would continue with our project. Okay, all right, see you later. Now you can see, guys, that Redshift cluster 1 has been successfully created. Very good, congratulations if you are up to this level. So I can close this thing right here, and then I can just come to the, let me also close this. I can come to the side right here, and then come to query editor v2 version 2. Click that. Very good, I think we are getting somewhere, guys. Now you can see that we have this Redshift cluster 1. If I open this, let us see what we have right here. What I did right here, guys, was to come to this greater than sign. Okay, just click that, and then that brings out this, because we want to connect now to that data warehouse, to that redshift cluster 1 that was just created for us. How do we want to connect? In this case, we want to connect with our username and password. Remember that we created a username and the password, so you can give your database a name. Okay, in this case, it has been called dev for me already, so I want to leave it as that. So but you can always change that. You can give it whatever name that you want. Okay, then the username that you had previously, you remember you created a username, and also you add a password, remember. So put that password right here, and this will help you to create a connection to your redshift cluster. And what we are trying to do right here to create that connection is we want to create connection so that we can at least run some code right here. We want to create table. Okay, so you can see now redshift cluster, we have dev. Okay, we have dev, the schema, public schema. Okay, and then we have tables, views, functions, stored procedures. If I open this, you can see stored procedures. Okay, but all these are zeros right now because we don't have any table, we don't have any views, we don't have any functions. We also don't have any stored procedures. Okay, you can see that right there, guys. Also, this sample data dev, you can if you remember, if I click this, you see that I don't see anything. There is no, I cannot click anything here. Remember that when we were creating the cluster, we did not check that box that says that load sample data. Okay, we did not check it. That's why. If you had checked it, then you would have seen the data right there, I believe. Okay, now in the case of this one, we don't need this, we don't need that. But now let us create the table where we are going to be loading our data. So now let us create our table right here, the table we are going to be loading our data. Okay, now I'm going to be doing a copy and paste right here, guys. Okay, now what am I doing right here? I'm saying create table if not exists, so I'm giving this name Zillow data. Bathrooms, I say is numeric. Bedrooms, numeric. City, variable character. Home status, variable character. Remember that how do I get these names? Okay, remember that when we run our lambda function right here, we selected specific columns that is going to be in the CSV. So these are the columns. If you also want to take a look, right, you can go to the CSV that you have right here. You can download it and take a look at what the data is. Okay, if I do open right here, let me see. Okay, it's downloaded. Yeah, so you can also take a look and open it. Okay, and so that you can see. Let me try to open right here so that we can all see it, just for us to understand what's going on. So you can see the columns: bathrooms, bedrooms, city, home status, home type, living area, price, rent estimate, zip code. You can see that, guys. So that is what we have right here. So now I'm creating table where I'm going to load all those information right there. So now I have this, so I'm going to run. If I run this, if the table is successful, I should be able to see these tables to say 1 right here. You see, I put zip code to be integer. Okay, so let me run. You see syntax error at on near numeric position. Numeric position. Let's see, where is the syntax error? It says syntax error somewhere here. Let's see. Let's take a look. Create create table if not exists. Zillow data, bathrooms, numeric, this. What could be the problem? Let's see. Let's run again. So that we can better understand what's going on, guys. Let's run again. Okay, yeah, this is successful now. Very good, very good. This is successful now. You can see that I think it's just some formatting thing, not that our commas, everything looks good. So maybe because of the way I pasted it right there, you know. Yeah, but right now it's running. Okay, now it's running. Now let us run a select. Let us refresh this right here, guys. Let's refresh this. Let's see if I refresh this, you can see now I have one. The table is Zillow. Okay, so the same thing if you do a select. If you do a select star from Zillow data, if I highlight this and then run, you can see right here, guys, that we don't see anything. Let me bring this back. Okay, let's see this way. I think this should be good. This way now we can see, you know, we can see all those, we can see those columns. You can see right there we don't have any data. Now very good, guys. Now we have created the table. Okay, now the next thing we want to do right now is we want to then go to our Airflow right now and create that task that will help to load data into this table. Okay, so now let us go right here and let me do a copy and paste right here, guys. So I will copy this. So what we are doing right here is we want to use an operator that is called S3 to redshift operator. Okay, S3 to redshift operator. So I would import this operator right here. Remember that we already installed the Amazon provider. Okay, so as part of that we are importing S3 to redshift operator. So now we are using this operator right here. So what are the things that this operator wants? Okay, let me show you a documentation for that, which you can also go over. You can see copy S3 key into redshift operator. You can see S3 to redshift operator is asking you for the bucket name, the key, the schema, the table, copy options, the task ID. Okay, I will share this link with you guys. Okay, now let us come back right here. So task ID, what task ID? I give you this task ID. I will need AWS con ID, so I'm giving it AWS S3 con. Why is that? Remember, we want to move it from S3 into redshift, so we need access to S3, and this connection right here will give us access to S3. Okay, also take note that it is this same connection that we created here in this S3 key sensor that we are also using in the case of this one right here, because you know that this S3 key sensor gave this AWS S3 con gave us access to the S3 bucket. So that's the same thing we are doing right here, because it's going to give us access to that, and we have used our access key and secret access key for that. However, we also then need redshift connection ID, which I'm going to give you this name, con ID redshift, and then we are going to do that setup. Okay, now S3 bucket. Which S3 bucket do we want to get data from? Remember that this is our S3 bucket. This is the name. That's the clean data zone CSV. That's where we want to get it from. Okay, that's what we put right here, S3 bucket, because that's the variable S3 bucket. Okay, now what is the S3 key? That is, what is the file name that we want to grab from that S3 bucket. You remember what we did right here, guys. You remember what we did, the bucket key, which is the same thing as the S3 key, where you are going to use the task instance .scom_pool. Then we go to that task, that first task where we created that file name. You can see index1. You remember that. And then what is our schema? Our schema is public. Remember that if you come to our redshift right here, our schema is public. Okay, our schema is public. And what is our table name? We showed you right here. This is our table name, Zillow. You see, this is where we created it. Okay, and then copy options, because it is CSV, so we'll put CSV right there. And also our CSV has an header. I just showed you our CSV. Our CSV has an header, right? But we want to ignore that header, and that header is on the first row, right? It's on the first row, so we want to ignore it. So we say ignore header on the first row. Ignore header. Header is on the first row. Ignore that. Okay, that is what we are doing right here. And then we can put this variable as part of our dependencies right here. Okay, now we have that right here, guys. Okay, we have imported this, and also we have this right here. Okay, let us save this. Okay, now one thing we need to do there now is to go to, remember that we have this redshift con ID. We need to go and create this connection on our Airflow. Okay, now we'll come to Airflow admin, we go to connections, we create connections, we put your connection right here. Okay, and then we are going to select Amazon Redshift. Okay, now the next thing is you can put a description right here. It's good to put a description, you know, of, you know, what connection are you making or what's going on. And then you can put the host. Okay, what is the host? Now if you come back to your Redshift right here, you are going to be having, if you go to this Redshift, that's your Redshift right here, you are going to be having an endpoint. Let us click these Redshifts, and then this Redshift has an endpoint. I will copy this endpoint right here. I will come to this host, I will paste it, and then I will delete up to .com. So I'm going to stop at .com. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to be doing is my database. What is my database? We all know that the database is dev. You see, the database is dev, so I'm going to put database to be dev. Okay, and what is my username? I'm going to put my username right here. Remember, you created that username before. Okay, and what is the password that we created? Remember the username you created when you were creating your Redshift, and your password, you would put that right there. And also, what port is Redshift going to run? 5439. I'm going to put that right here, guys, and then I am going to save. Okay, I am going to save. So now that we have saved, what we are going to then do right now is we need to update the previous row that we had created. If you go to remember that we had a row. Let me refresh. We had this row EC2 several access, this right here. We need to give it another permission. We need to give it permission to be able to access Redshift. Okay, so I will come right here and I will say attach policies. Then I will look for Redshift. Let me type Redshift. If I type Redshift full access, okay, Redshift full access, I will say add permissions. Now you can see I have Redshift full access. So that means now my EC2 will also be able to access my Redshift. Why am I doing that? Because remember that we are running our Airflow from our EC2, so we want to make sure that our EC2 can access our Redshift. So now that we have given access, that's the Redshift full access to our EC2. So our EC2 now would be able to, to have permission to load from S3 into Redshift, okay? Because if you take a look, we are only updating the rows right here. We've already attached this role to our EC2. So we updated, giving it Redshift full access, okay? That is one thing. Another thing also is that we also need to go to our Redshift and update our inbound rules. If you go to our Redshift cluster, this is our Redshift cluster right here. Let us look for our security group right there. Let's take a look. I think let's look at maintenance. Let's see where we will get the VPC. If we go to clusters, okay, we are in that cluster. This is the cluster. Okay, let's click that cluster again. Okay, properties. Let's go to properties. Let's go to properties. I think that's where we'll get the security. You see, this is the dev, this is the port, this is the username, and let's go down. Okay, this is the VPC security group. Let us click this. So if we click this right here, you can see what we have right here. It says default, and it gives us the security groups and all of that. Let us create let us go to the inbound rules. Let's look at the inbound rule. Let us see what's going on there. Inbound rules. Okay, we can see right here that we have an inbound rule that says IPv4 all traffic, all. Then we have 0000000/0. I think this should be good enough. We have all traffic, so we don't need to update this inbound rule. If we have some problems when we are running it, if he wants us to update, then we'll update. But based on what I see right here, Redshift already has that for us, all traffic, and put anywhere source for us, okay, and the spot range is all good, okay. So I think this should work, okay. So now we have I believe we have all our code right here. I think everything should be working good. And then let's go to our Airflow. Let's see what's going on. We already updated our connections, okay. Now let us click our DAGs. So what we should be expecting right here is that when we run it, let me click this. When we run it, we should be able to extract data from right here to the landing zone, which will trigger the lambda function, and that will copy the file, the JSON file into here, which then triggers lambda function. We do some transformation and also convert to CSV, okay, and that loads into this bucket. And then we have an S3 key sensor that ensures that our file is here. If it is there, then it triggers the S3 to Redshift operator, which will then help to upload that CSV into Redshift, okay. Let us take a look at that and let us see that in action. I'll come to graph, okay, and then I'll say trigger DAG. If I trigger the DAG, I come to graph, and then I'll click this box right here so I can see what's going on. That's successful. The bash operator is running. That's successful. The S3 key sensor is running. If I click this, I can do logs to see. You can see it's poking for key right here, okay. It is successful already. Now success, okay, now that is successful. And even S3 to Redshift says successful. Very good. If you are getting this, congratulations guys. If you are getting this, let us go to our Redshift and confirm if indeed we were able to load that data into our Redshift. Let us come right here to our Redshift. Remember, we had the Redshift we had the editor right here. Remember previously when we ran the select star, we did not see anything right here, okay. So now let us run this and let us see if we will get something. Fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed. Let us run this. I'm running it. Very good, perfect. You can see right here, guys, you can see bathroom, bedrooms, city, right? Home status, home type, living area, price, rent estimate, zip code. You can see that right here, guys, that we can see that. We know that the location we selected was Houston, but you can see that we can still see some few cities according to what data the API is supplying us. We could still see Kingwood, Missouri City, you know, we can see Humble, you know, that's part of the data that was supplied to us. Okay, now let us see how many rows or how many records do we have right here. We can easily just write a select count statement right here, and then I can just highlight this and then just run. You can see we have 459. You can see that, guys. Now let's assume we want to be running this every day. Okay, what happens? That means when you run it the second time again, you should have more than this count. You should have more data this time around. If we go to our bucket right here, you can see, if I refresh, you can see that the one we just ran is this one right here, 313. You see, let us run another one again. If we run another one again, that one also will then be appended to our data, and then we can have more than this count. Okay, let's quickly take a look at that before we then go into connecting our quicksight to that. Okay, let me click this and let me come back right here, go back in there. This is exciting, right, guys? This is good. I love this. So I'm going to trigger this. Okay, I'm going to select this. Now I hope you guys are getting it. While this is running, guys, if you have still not subscribed to our channel, I highly encourage you to go ahead and subscribe right now, and also click on the bell so that you can be notified whenever we release any of our videos. And don't forget to click that like button. That is very, very important to us, okay? Because the more likes we get, the better we are ranked by the YouTube algorithm. And if you have any questions or any comments, do not forget to put that in the comment section below, okay? Please click that like button right now. Click that like button and click subscribe, and also share this with your colleagues, with your mates, with your friends. Share it on your social media, and share it on LinkedIn as well, as part of your social media platform. Okay, now you can see right here that this has run successfully, guys. Let us go back to our redshift and let us run our count again. Remember, we have 459. Let us run. We should be able to get more than 459 now. Let us run. You can see now 918. You can see 918. We have added more. If you go to our cleaned data, remember that we only had 2 CSV before. If I refresh, we should have the third one. You can see now 317. We have the third one right here. Okay, I hope you guys are getting this right now. Okay, I hope you guys are getting this right now. Very good, guys. Very good. I'm excited about this project. This is an end-to-end project. These are the kind of things that you are going to be seeing in the industry. Of course, more complex than this, but you know, these are the kind of things that helps you to get to that level at which you can be running more complex pipeline. Okay, now let us see if we can peradventure be able to connect our redshift to our quicksight. Okay, so what we can do right here is that we can just come right here, you know, and we can just say, you can just type quicksight. Okay, now because we are already done with the pipeline from the API to our redshift, we have our data. Can we connect our quicksight? Let us take a look, guys. I'll do this in a new tab. Okay, Now when you go to a new tab, what happens is that AWS, it said your AWS account is not signed up for quicksight. It says, would you like to sign up now? You know, this is the AWS account. Okay, sign up for quicksight. Let us click that. It says to access quicksight with a different account, log in again. Okay, this is what we want, sign up. Let us click that. Okay, and let us see what we can get. Okay, now if you look at what I am getting right here, it seems that I don't have a free version. Is that what it seems? Or maybe this is free version. No, this says edition. No, we cannot. So no free version right here. Okay, although it says team trial for 30 days for authors. That is, if you want to do this, you can. This is a team trial for 30 days free. But I think every other thing right here I will have to pay. Say author per month, yearly, author per month, monthly, readers per session. This let us see what is going on. You see, trial authors are auto converted to month subscription upon trial expiry. Trial authors. Okay, each additional author includes this session of 30-minute duration. Total charges for each reader are capped at $5. Sign up. Oh, it says sign up for standard edition right here. Let us, I think this standard edition is going to be the free version. So let us click this, guys. Let us click this. Very good. It says create your quicksight account, and then it says that use IAM federated identities and quicksight managed users, authenticate with single sign-on, blah blah blah. Use IAM federated identities only. Okay, quicksight region. Okay, so right now you can see that we can select a region right here. Okay, so we can leave this the way it is. We can select a region right here. In my case, I'm using US West. Okay, it says changing this may change some sections. Making this change will adjust appropriate sections in the sign up below. Something you have submitted may be discarded. I will say okay. Okay, I will say okay because I want it to be US. Okay, and then it says quicksight account name. You will need this for you and others to sign in. Enter a unique quicksight account number, account name. Okay, so I can just give it the name. I can say DE data engineer DE Airflow -YM. I think that should be good enough. We'll see. If not, then we'll make adjustment. Okay, it says notification email address for quicksight to send important notifications. Okay, enter account notification email address. So I will just put an email address, and then I will see if that works. If it doesn't work, then we'll make changes from there. So just put your email, a functional email address, and then a quicksight account name. Okay, and then you say make your existing AWS data and users available in quicksight. Okay, allow access and auto discovery for these resources. In this case, we know that we want Amazon Redshift, so I'll check that. If there is any other one you want to check, you can check that, but I think this is good enough for me. Especially Amazon Redshift is already selected. That is what I need for this project. So I'm going to click finish. So you can see now it is saying creating your quicksight account. That is pretty easy, guys. Let us see what happens. I think it's going to take some few seconds or so. Let's see. Okay, still trying to create that. Okay, very good. It says congratulations, you are signed up for Amazon quicksight. Access quicksight with the following information: account name, this username. Remember that this is the username I'm using, right? And this is the account name I just created. I will take note of this account name so that I don't forget. Maybe it might request me down the line for that. We'll find out, but I would just hold on to this right now. Okay, I'll paste this on here on my notepad. Okay, so now that we have that, let's click on go to Amazon quicksight. Okay, your samples have been successfully created. Okay, we have that. If we come, you see, you can see if I come right here, that is end-to-end YouTube YM user 1. That is user 1. Okay, now I can, if I click this, I hope everything looks good. Manage quicksight. What do I have right there? You can invite other users. Okay, security and permissions. You can see that I've already granted access to 4 services. Okay, redshift is there, Amazon RDS, IAM, Amazon Athena. But in the case of this, I am only interested in Amazon redshift. Okay, and that is already working out. That's what I'm going to be using. Okay, I will cancel this. Okay, and then I would come outside of this. Remember, we are in the free version. That is the standard edition that we select. If we come to your subscriptions, or you can even see right here, edition is standard. You know, and it says upgrade now. If I want to upgrade now, then I can click that. Okay, so I will come right there. I will go back. Okay, now I'm back right here. Okay, very good. So now what do I need to do? Let's take a look, guys. So right now, guys, then we can come to data sets, and these are different data sets that AWS has given to us, right? But we can come right here and say new data sets. So now new data set, it says, can you see what it says right here? It says create a data set from new data sources. So in this case, because we are interested in redshift, so there is a redshift auto discover and there is a redshift manual connect. Let us click auto discover and let us see what we are going to get. It says enter a name for the data source, choose a cluster ID. Remember, we have a cluster ID. It says we are going to put the database name, username, password. Okay, let me close that. What about manual connect? What does it give us? If I do have manual connect also as database server, ports, this, that. I think it's pretty much almost the same, but my guess is that, you know, auto discover is probably doing more automated stuff in the backend. But let us click this and let us see. So we'll do this. It's a data source name. Please fill out this field. We can just give this a name, right? We can say Zillow dataset. Let's give it that name, Zillow dataset. Okay, and then we'll come right here and we'll say redshift cluster. Okay, so if we say redshift cluster, redshift cluster 1, that's what we are. Then it say choose a VPC connection, connection type. Let's see, this is not giving us anything right there, so probably we don't need it, but let's see. Then the database name we know is dev. Okay, then the name of our username, let me copy our redshift username so I can paste it right there. So it is this, and then my password is this. Okay, then I think this we can say validate connection. Let's see if it's going to validate it. It says Amazon quicksight can't reach your data source because it's inside a private network. To fix this, make your host publicly accessible. Let's see, show details. You say region, this unable to route to host redshift cluster, so it needs to be publicly available. Let's go to our redshifts. Let's see what we need to do, guys. Okay. Enhanced VPC routing. Okay. Publicly accessible. You can see right, it says allow connections from outside the VPC. This is disabled. Let us come right here and let us turn on, and let's see what we it's a publicly accessible. No, this one, turn on publicly accessible, allow public connections to Amazon Redshift. We will check this. It says when you turn on this feature, clients can connect to the database from outside the VPC. Okay. Elastic IP address, select the elastic IP address for connecting to the cluster. Okay, there is none right here. When you turn on this feature, clients can connect to the database from outside the VPC. So we are not selecting anything right here. Okay, let us save this and let us see. Okay, so now we have it's still modifying the Redshift cluster. Let's see, let's wait for some few minutes. Okay, let's see, still modifying the Redshift cluster. Very good. It says it has been successfully modified, so you can see it says it is enabled. Okay, so now let us come back here. Let us see if it's going to work out well for us. Okay, we can come right here and say create data source. Now you can see that we were able to create that data source right now. You can see that I say choose your table. Okay, now schema, contain set of tables, public. Okay, you can see now we have Zillow data. Remember that it was Zillow data that we called it. So the problem we had was because our Redshift was not accessible to the public, but now we have enabled that, and that is the only way that's a way that quicksight would be able to access our data. Okay, now let me check this. If I check this, I could even preview it if I want. Let's see, let's preview. You can see that is our data right there, and it is loading. You can see we have our data right here. Very good, very good. That means we have been able to connect, to our Redshift using quicksight. Okay, now if I go back right now, if I let me go back right there. Okay, this is what I have right now. Okay, now I have this. So now you can see that we can see our data right here. So if I do save and publish, right here you see it says saved and published successfully. I have this right here, guys. Okay, I can come right here, click quicksight. Okay, I click quicksight, and then I come back right here. If I come to my data set, you can now see right here that I have my Zillow data, which was not there before. You can see that all these data sets right here, these are data sets for S3, but this one is for Redshift. You can see the logo right there. If I click this, you can see what we have right here. If I want to delete the data set, I can delete it. This is the data set, Zillow data set. That's what I called the name. You remember when I was trying to use quicksight to connect. Okay, and this is what we have. So what we want right now is, let us now start using this for analysis. Okay, let's just do some few visualizations. Okay, we are not really delving into that. I just wanted to show you how you can connect quicksight to Redshift. However, guys, before we move on, if you find our videos valuable, I highly please encourage you to subscribe to our channel if you have not done that already, and you should click on the bell to be notified, so we can always notify you whenever, so you can be notified whenever we release any of our videos. okay? And also make sure you comment, and if you have any questions, put that in the comment section below, okay? And also share our videos with your friends, with your team and your colleagues, and also help us to share on your social media platform, including LinkedIn, okay? So now we already have our data right here, guys, okay? So now, guys, let's click on Zillow data. When we click on that, then you can come right here and say using analysis. If I click this arrow, what does it give us? This, okay, this triangle. So just say using analysis, and then that is going to come down right here, and then if you want, it says new sheet. If you want to create, new sheet, I could click that, or I could just, close that. It says autograph, okay? So what I can do is, remember that these are the columns that we have, okay? So let's assume, just play around with this. Let's say I want to check price. I can just put price right there, and let's say I want to see prices by let's say by number of bedrooms. So I can maybe drag that there, or maybe I can just come right here and do vertical. Let's do vertical plots, okay? And then I can say price, okay? If I click that, I can take out I can say my x-axis is this, okay? My bedroom, I can say you see that I can say bedroom is my x-axis, okay? And then I can say my vertical axis is price. If I come right here and if I come right here and I drag that down, so I can see these are the metrics right here. You see on my x-axis, I'm saying I want number of bedrooms, and I'm saying that my price, I want this, but then this price is sum. We might say, okay, I don't want it to be sum. You can say you maybe want to do, maybe say average or something, right? So, and that is going to, in the background, is trying to work out that. You can see these 3 dots, so it's trying to work out that, okay? So that means you can say that the average price for as against bedroom, you can see that right there, which of course makes sense, right? That the more the number of bedrooms, the more the number of price. If I copy this and I paste it, I think that should work. Let me click this again. Okay, that's not okay. I want to duplicate this. That should be a duplicate visual. You can see I can maybe come right here and make this smaller, and then also drag this one right here, make this one smaller sort of again. I want to make the x-axis to show, okay? And this one right here, I can decide if I highlight this one, I want to take out that price away, or maybe you might even want to leave it at price, but you want to do it by, let's say, zip code, maybe you want to do it by zip code. So that means at that point I can say maybe take out this one. I can say remove bedroom, and I can say let me put zip code right there, and this is trying to load right now. So I want to see the average price, or sometimes you might say you want to see median price by by zip code. If you look at this right here, you can see that this zip code has the highest average price. But then most of the analysis you see in real estate, you see it as median price, right? So I might want to say, okay, I want to use median. I want to say, okay, median price. Click on median, so you can see this is, it keeps loading, okay, and then you can see it as median price. Just play around with this, and then you can select whatever. You can see horizontal bar. If you want to create bar chart for anything that comes to your mind, you can just come here right here and just play around with all of this so that you can better understand what's going on. And again, this is an end-to-end project. What I wanted to show you right here was just how do you connect your quicksight to your redshift cluster and then start doing a lot of analysis. But for the sake of this video, I don't want it to be too long. I don't want to start delving into the analysis, but you can ask yourself some questions and see how you can use this data set to answer these questions. But what I'm guessing is that they are not real data. They are from RapidAPI. Maybe if you think they are real data, let me know in the comment section below from RapidAPI. But I think that this data set is a good data set though for us to be able to run some to have some end-to-end data engineering project. Like I said, this price average, you can change that to median price, and then you can check it out by bedrooms. Okay, you can also do some dissect. You can dissect by city, by home status, home type, and living area, what have you. You can look at trend charts. Let's say we have some dates right there. You can look at how price is fluctuating by date and all of that. You can do a whole lot of stuff when you have this type of data set. Also, if you prefer, you may change the lambda function, in which case I only select this few number of columns. In your case, you can decide to select more columns. Okay, but I just didn't want to complicate this project. That was why I selected these few columns. Okay, now thank you guys. This has been a very long journey, guys. As you know, that this is the third part of this project. We started from part 1, then we moved to part 2, and this is part 3, where we were able to connect our quicksight to redshift. Again, what have we been able to accomplish? We've been able to use Python to connect to Zillow RapidAPI to load to extract the data, which we save onto our EC2, and then we use a bash operator to move that into our landing zone, our S3 bucket, which then trigger a lambda function that helps to copy and load that data inside an intermediate zone, which is another S3 bucket. Immediately that file gets into that, it triggers another function that transforms and loads the data into another Amazon S3 bucket. But before we loaded into Redshift, we add an S3 key sensor in our Airflow task, and that helps to sense when if the file is already loaded into this bucket, after which we are able to load that data into Redshift. And then finally, I was able to show to you guys how you can connect quicksight to Redshift for data visualizations. I hope you guys find this project valuable, guys. If you really find this valuable, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos for more awesome videos. I will see you guys in the next video. And again, guys, this is the last of this end-to-end project. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.